Are you ready?
I'm now ready.
You're not going to need a. It's not going to be a B final.
I don't need a pit stopper.
Right. Well, that's how we start our first Bumpdraft podcast. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. As you know, Andrew Mather, Henry Beaudette, I'm Piers Pryor. I'm working for Alpha Live on the Bumpdraft and the SlipStream. If you're watching this in the first 7 days when it goes live, that means you're a SlipStream member. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, exactly.
Thank you.
I've got a nice tagline for Bumpdraft. Our new, I'm going to go with monthly for now. It may become more frequent, but who knows? You can only get, how are you going to like this? You can only get the Bumpdraft and karting if you're in the SlipStream.
Very good.
James Fitchew, thank you very much for that. James Fitchew, one of the owners at Alpha Live, producer. He coined that one. This is how it's going to go for today, at least. Hello, we're going to introduce ourselves and talk about what's on our minds. Then we've got the Trackside review, where we talk about the first two ever SlipStream events from Trent Valley Kart Club and Wilton Mill Kart Club, which was yesterday on this very piece of tarmac here at Wilton Mill.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Wilton Mill, for letting us borrow their equipment and circuit for the day. We're glad that it's not smell-o-vision because.
At the end of a long weekend with 240 drivers,
240 entries, there's a lot of logistics.
Well,
Post-event, we'll leave that to the imagination.
The septic tanks being
so we'll
emptied.
talk about that, and we'll also talk a bit about what's going on in the world of karting generally as well. Once we've covered off SlipStream, then we're going to go into I think which will be quite good fun: the unpopular opinions or unusual opinions. I've had to censor Henry's already. Andrew's got one which I'm not sure about yet. I've got my own, and we'll talk about that. And then after we've done that, we will then have the Phonebox. No red Phonebox is being installed at Wilton Mill, but we're going to phone a friend effectively and get them to weigh in on our unpopular opinions. I will leave that person who it is a mystery until we actually get them on the phone. They will also we can talk about what they're thinking about in the world of karting, what's going on in their lives, maybe. To be confirmed.
Maybe.
We'll then have the comments section. I, as the community manager at Alpha Live, get to see all of the comments from all of the broadcasts and videos and everything.
Even the angry ones.
Especially the angry ones. We've got a good one today. We've got 3 or 4 of those which you can go through. If you're never commented on an Alpha Live broadcast or video or anything before, we love having you commenting. Let us know where you're watching from, when you're watching, both on the broadcast and also on this Bumpdraft podcast, which will be at the very least on YouTube. And if I can get Spotify and all the other things working, which to be confirmed, then I'll get it on there. Then we have a caption competition. I've selected my favourite unusual photo from the world of karting from the last couple of months and will be recurring as well. And we will do our best to give you some inspiration, and then I want you to comment your favourite caption, and prizes for the best caption will be forthcoming at some point. Maybe for next month, but at the very least, if you have the funniest caption or the best that we think, then you'll get a feature on the next Bumpdraft in March. And then we'll have the Cooldown Lap, which will be a bit of a roundup of today's show, and then what's coming up on SlipStream in the next month, and also what you can watch on Alpha Live. So that's how it's going to go. The format may fluctuate. It may get new things. Yeah, exactly. This is a new thing for us.
Fluid.
Just the way we like it, right? So let's start off with the Trackside review. One of the things, Andrew is here, and he was the first man ever to commentate on a SlipStream broadcast. First of all, how was the first SlipStream broadcast?
It was good. It's so far the only race that I've seen this year that hasn't got cancelled before the end of the finals. But yeah, basically remote comms gigs for the rest of 2026 for me. Because
and also, must say, we're outside here at Wilton because the weather is. I was about to say great. It's as good as it has been in 2026.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, Trent Valley Kart Club.
No, it's good for the Icebreaker Cup. It's always an interesting time of year, isn't it? Because you've got so many changes of regular faces that we've seen. You know, I always bang on about it. You know, your minis are now juniors, your juniors are now seniors. You've got a brand new batch of cadets coming in as well. So yeah, no, it's good to see who's hit the ground running. I think particular standouts for myself, it's good to see Lewis Bird back. Yes. Lewis had a bit of a funny 2025, didn't he?
Yeah, a tough year for Lewis, I think, on and off track.
Yeah, but he had a good run to a strong result in the finals. The bit you also have to get your head around is they've all changed teams now as well. So you had Freddie Lloyd not in a premium karting anymore as he was for most of last year. Lewis has now stepped into that one. So
that's the big move for me.
Yeah,
that's the big move for me because, of course, we know Strawberry Karting has been one of the teams to beat, if not the team to beat for a long time. And Freddie Lloyd, British champion last year,
Yep.
finally got it done. It was so quick last year. But then to move after winning a championship with Premium, that's a big move.
It is, and I think, obviously he was running in both senior classes, both the X30 and the Rotax, and that's always an interesting proposition as well. It's not really something that we've seen in the seniors in the last couple of years. Obviously, someone like Macaulay Bishop did it in the juniors, running both in X30 and Rotax. But yeah, that's definitely an interesting angle to keep an eye on. And Fred was quick as well. I'm not quite sure what happened in terms of, I know he got, in the end, DQ'd from the meeting because he had a little play with his front fairing when he wasn't meant to. But before that point, he was looking very, very good in both categories.
Is that a nice way of saying that Freddie Lloyd may have had a little look at his nose cone bracket, maybe on track or on a slowdown lap or before the iPad of Doom had a chance to take a photo of it?
It was also very cold. He might have just wanted to go home.
Well,
so,
possibly.
It was very cold. It was the Icebreaker Cup lived up to his name.
I think other interesting things as well. Seb Mins back in X30 action. Obviously, Seb's been doing a lot in OK categories for the last couple of years. He had a very good run. Saw him a couple of weeks ago in another race that I managed to get cancelled somehow in Valencia. Again, I don't fully know what Seb's plans are for which championships he's running in, because it's that stage of the year where I think a lot of people are just trying out. But if Seb, let's say, is running a British Championships campaign and a Euro Series one, I think it could be one to watch.
Yep.
Others to watch out for, Water Swift. Anyone who's watched any of our footage from last year knows that, I really like Miami Water Swift. I think it's a very good category at the moment in terms of the British drivers. Names that jumped out, Alfie Davidson.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm going to just say straight away, Alfie's probably my early season favourite for a British Championship.
That's early.
Chester Forks. Chester took a big step forward in the second half of last year. I think winning the E-Plate last year at Shennington really, really kicked him on. He looked good as well. Both drivers then followed that up with good performances at Miami Winter Cup a couple of weeks ago as well, before we were winded off. And another name I'll throw in there, Dimi Uzanov. Dimi did a lot of racing last year. Dimi and the work that Jason Dredge has been doing with him as well. That's a driver we need to keep an eye on for 2026. Could provide a few surprises, I think.
Interesting. Also, I want to get your opinion on how it was commentating on a SlipStream broadcast, because it was the first time we've tried it. I think, from my perspective, I wasn't actually at the event. I was unfortunately engaged elsewhere. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it went well. The reception, we were aware that there was going to be some negativity because, of course, there is a cost to the people that want to watch live. But the whole point of it is that these broadcasts, Trent Valley Kart Club, have, as you watching at home will be aware, it's never had a live broadcast of any club event, or not for a very long time in my awareness. So great to have it.
Never had.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm glad that people have been enjoying watching that, and we've actually been able to bring it. And from my perspective also, it's interesting to showcase what winter karting is like in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
We had it at Wilton yesterday. It's just grease. It is wet, but it's greasy forever. And maybe this is why our British karters are so good generally, because they have to deal with adverse conditions. The circuit's different every time.
Yeah, I think, obviously, winter karting, there's a school of thought that says, the reason that Andrew's beat the 3 events so far this year in person and none of them have finished is a mark about
one
why...
of them was in Spain as well.
Exactly,
so
not just in the UK. We had it in Texas. One of the Rotax Winter Trophy events had to get postponed through to, wintry conditions. It's winter. It's going to be, cold and wet. Wilton Mill yesterday, I think it went very well. Personally, you tend to forget how hard it is to do a 30-race club day on your own. We're so used to commentating now as duos, to go back to being, single and 30 races. It was tough. It was good though. Enjoyed it. I was impressed with lots of things at Wilton Mill Kart Club.
Were you impressed at your bladder capacity as well?
Well, we had 30 races, 20 heat races. I said to the SlipStream viewers that in the commentary box, we've adopted a 3-stop strategy.
Okay.
One was bladder related, one was nicotine related, and I think the other one was orange drink related.
Well, the one that's just currently blown into their turn 1.
No, this orange drink is unbranded bit of orange drink. It's lovely, by the way. If anyone wants to put a sponsor on a slipstream across it. That's lovely, but it's very, very nice.
We're
This
open,
orange
we're
drink.
open, we're open
But yeah,
to
we had to
inquiries.
adopt a 3-stop strategy: bladder, orange drink, and nicotine related. But that's because at Slipstream, you know, the Slipstream subscribers, every 3 or 4 races, they get a special deal where they get to read the race results themselves. I don't bother. I let them do it as a thank you for subscribing to Slipstream.
And thank you for reading your own race
Yeah,
results.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Andrew, Trent Valley Kart Club, anything else you want to cover off, or maybe look ahead to next month?
A few others, new cadets, or cadets taking that next step. Jayan Prakash caught my eye. We've watched Jayan for a good couple of years. He stepped across from Honda Cadets into Micro Max.
That's a big step as well.
And also gone into Sam Pollitt Racing as well. So a big awning. That's quite a difference. He impressed me a lot at PF a couple of weeks ago. Bobby Slater as well. He had some good runs at Sheddington as well. So another Slater on the scene.
Is it the Slater?
This is the Slater.
The third of the Slaters.
This is the third one.
After AC Slater out of Saved by the Bell.
That one. Well, funny you say that. I was actually at F3 testing in Barcelona a couple of weeks ago with Chris McCarthy. Freddie Slater did one round of F3 last year as a guest in the IX. Was right at the top of the times as well. So that's a man that we've seen from the UK who has done well in karting, and then I mean he's now the only Audi junior driver. So it's pretty cool to have that as an aspiration for a lot of our young drivers.
I remember watching Freddie when he won the KZ2 European Championship, and we both like a stat, don't we? And the one that day was he was the first British driver to win an FIA KZ title, either a world or a European, since Jenson Button.
Yeah,
so it's been quite a while.
Portimao 2020, was that the one?
For
Mr. Slater.
Sorry, for a European, a European, it was the first time that a Brit had won that title since Jenson Button, because it's generally KZ on the European stage. It's your Italians, it's your Dutch, it's those are the guys to beat. We're not often towards the top end on that one.
And also, you forget, I mean, Freddie's still in his teens, and so he's like 10 years younger than me. That means he must be. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. It's cool to have that, and also another Slater on the scene. He's got the genes, at least.
He's got the genes, but that will come with a bit of pressure. But the early stages that I've seen, he's very much racing as his own driver. A few other names to mention as well. Emerson Canturen, we'll talk more about him, I'm sure, across the course of the season.
Absolutely.
He's been doing a lot of the club events as he's stepped up to the juniors. Luca Holmes-Balak looked pretty good as well in junior Rotax. So, yeah, good. I think there's going to be some good championship fights there, whether it be at a club or a national level. And there's one other driver that I need to mention. I know it's been very, very popular on the social medias. Big apologies to Ben Ballou. Ben Ballou was the first major victim of the year of the DDMM commentary curse. I said, he's had a really good start. He's up 5 places. And then one of his wheels popped off.
Yes, I did see that. Actually, you probably will have, hopefully you will have seen that as a social clip. Thank you very much. The White House cut that live during the day, got it out on the social medias. We've been a renewed Slipstream. We're going to try and keep up to date with us clips and highlights from the Slipstream days as they go along, both during the day and then in the weeks following as well. The whole point of Slipstream is to give a platform and exposure to club karting. And one, you can watch the karting, and two, we get a lot of views and a lot of a lot of traction on the social clips. So if you see one, like it, send it to a mate, maybe someone who isn't actually in karting, and they might be interested, because club karting is where our sport, it's the grassroots of our sport. And again, that's the whole point of Slipstream, is we haven't been able to bring club karting a broadcast as often as we would like in the previous years.
Yeah.
And now we've got at least 2 with more coming.
When was the last time you did a club meeting? Because this is another thing. When was the last time that Andrew Mather graced a club commentary box?
Sir Andrew Mather.
Sir Andrew of Mather.
Of the Sheffield. Probably 2023, I think. Yeah, 2023 or very early 2024. And it'll have been here. So it's been a while. Because
I was thinking about this. I did a Texas Karting League broadcast last year, which was at the circuit, only on radio. That's a club in the US. The last time I did a club meeting in the UK, I can't honestly remember. I mean, it would have, maybe even Landau Kart Club, RIP, back in about 2012. I'm trying to think of the last time I did a club meeting, and I can't even remember.
Do you know, I hadn't even considered that actually. First of all, thank you to both of you. Of course,
It's fantastic.
Now in your amazing commentary careers now, coming and joining us on SlipStream. I know that, of course, as your seasons get off and you'll be gallivanting all over the world, we may have to say goodbye to you temporarily. But it's great to have both of you on board as I view as premium commentators in the UK, and to be able to do that for club karting is great. So thank you very much to you too.
It's good for us as well. Gets us in the zone ahead of
it's good. So I mean. For those of you that follow on social media, I did a bit of a world tour. I actually went around the world, a complete lap of the globe and another quarter lap of the globe in 5 weeks. And in those 5 weeks, we started off, I did a round of the UAE Rotax Max Challenge at the Dubai Kartdrome. Then went to the International Trophy Asia at Macau for the first tickets for the grand finals. Then went to Houston Speed Sports Park for the Rotax Winter Trophy. Then did US Formula Juniors, the Academy Winter Series at Sebring and Homestead. Then to the next round of the UAE Rotax at Yas Marina. Then to Wilton Mill. The biggest entry of all those events was Wilton Mill Kart Club, which I thought is brilliant because for all the people that can moan about karting costs and this and that, club karting still has more entries in it than all those international events that I was lucky enough to go to, which is really good. I like that. 241 club drivers. Okay, there were a good smattering of drivers that you will see in the British Kart Championship and the other national level kart championships, UKC Rotax Max Challenge, the NKC, the National Kart Cup, being two others. I'm trying to think about what else we've got. To the Kart Championship. Super One, I suppose. There's 5 national kart series, and okay, a lot of those drivers will appear in one or more of them, but there was a good percentage of those 241 drivers that are just once a month warriors, which is fantastic. That are pure club level club drivers, no aspiration or to go and race around the country, around the world 50 times a year. Just once, twice a month at a club karting event. Perfect.
And it's important, I think, that we're able to, which again, why SlipStream exists, that we're able to showcase that this exists, because if we just show the British Kart Championships and such like, and then you've got the European stuff that often you cover, Andrew Mather and stuff in America, it's that people can look at that and go, I want to do some karting. They look at that, they look at the entry fees, they look at the commitment, they go, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Whereas you can live in,
I'll tell you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas you can live in Daventry or Northamptonshire, and you can come to Wilton on a much more attainable level and still get really, really competitive karting. You might not start challenging a lot of the British champ boys and that are racing in those events, but you can go karting and have competitive racing against people that are going to be at your pace, especially when you've got like 240 entries. There's going to be someone, once you're up to speed, that you can have a race with.
No, absolutely. And also showing that ladder is there. I remember it's similar for us as commentators. Yourself, Henry, down at Llandau, and myself, probably the first clubby meeting that I ever called was here with our good friend, Mr. McCarthy, probably about 10 years ago now. And some of the names on that entry list that day, throw him in again, Macaulay Bishop. I remember watching Macaulay here in the old Miami Cadet back in the day, and you can see where he's gone to now. Booked his ticket to
already,
finals already, and all that rest of it. So you're absolutely right, Piers, that the club level is so important to give people that first level. I mean, I'll take it back another step at the moment in the karting pathway with the work that I do with Club 100.
Yeah.
A lot more drivers now, that's been their entryway into outdoor karting. They've gone, yep, this has gone all right, but now I want to go a step further. I want to have my own karts. I want to be able to play around with it. I want to be able to learn from it. That's, again, where the club scene is so important, to give those drivers that next step up, see how they do with that, and then go from there.
Each stage, the next jump needs to not be too large. Otherwise, you end up either time, effort, pricing a lot of people out in terms of, because going from, for example, as you mentioned, Andrew, the Club 100, which is it's a lot more time and commitment than your local indoor circuit, but it's then just travel. But then if you're, okay, now I want to have my own kart, but then you have to commit, obviously you need to get your own kart ready. Well, that takes a lot of time. You can then go once a month. If you then get really into it, you start getting better, you have aspirations, you can then go a couple of clubs. And then once you've got a roster of circuits on your boat, you can consider national level championship. And then, the world is, as I'm going to butcher, the world is your lobster,
Yes.
Trent Valley Kart Club, I think. And
I had one more.
One more.
It's actually a really important one because, as I say, normally when me and him are at TVKC or we're at PF, it's because we're there for a British Champs round, or like last year for Kart Masters. There was a driver there last year who we saw have a really, really worrying accident. A month or so ago was the first time I'd seen that particular driver back on track and actually looking really, really good. So fair play to Fletcher Jameson.
Yes.
Back on track.
Yes.
It's the last 2 years, there's been a driver who has come back from a really, really tough position. In 2024, for me, it was Joe Turney.
Oh, gotcha.
In 2025, last year, it was Gabe Stilp. Could Fletcher Jameson do something similar this year? Actually go even further than he was racing in 2025 before what happened at Kart Masters. But yeah, it was just really good to see.
That's going to be so difficult, though, hasn't it? The first time you go under the bridge at racing speed and you're a teenager, you've got to have thoughts in the back of your mind. The last time I went into this corner, I didn't come out. That's got to be really... And I wonder how Zach Starbuck is doing as well. Hopefully he's doing well.
Yeah, I think Zach's still on that road to recovery.
Yes.
Again, the priority being the safety and getting the medical sign-off. But no, it's just really good to see Fletch back. And dare I say it, better than ever. Last year he was maybe running in the mid-pack. Mm-hmm. We're already looking, okay, at club level, but PF's a very, very competitive club. Yeah. There were a lot of drivers that you would expect to see towards the front of a British Champs grid or whatever it may be. And the fact that he was right up at the sharp end of that's a really good indicator for his comeback.
Absolutely. Andrew Mather, thank you so much.
No problem.
We've got Trent Valley Kart Cup coming up very soon. If you're a SlipStream member, you'll be able to watch this, and then this will be a preview to that event. If you're not a SlipStream member, no problem. You can still watch this because it will be available 7 days after, but Trent Valley Kart Club will have just happened. Yeah, so you can then listen to the preview of that after the event. But then you'll also have then the event you'll be able to watch 7 days after. So it'll still work chronologically. But of course, we want to encourage you to be a member. But hey, more karting for you even if you're not.
I got a rant.
Uh-oh.
Am I allowed to rant now?
Go on then, Henry.
About this?
I'm not
or can I
stop you,
save the rant?
I think the vein in the forehead will get too big if I don't let it.
Let's address the elephant in the room about SlipStream, about the people who are, I don't want to pay. Well, Alpha are trying to do I don't work for Alpha. I've got a shirt on here, but that's just because it's bloody freezing. But I don't work for Alpha. Andrew and myself, we're subcontractors. We are self-employed one-man bands. What Alpha are trying to do, they're trying to create or solidify an industry. Now, there's a small industry of motorsports commentators, specifically in karting, who are trying to make a living out of being full-time motorsport commentators starting in karting. You're one of them. I'm one of them. We'll talk about other people. Piers is one of them. Anthony Jordan, Alex Goldschmidt. I will name drop a few others. Alpha are giving, a reinvesting into giving that we can get paid for a day's work. All the people that complain, would you go to work for a day and not get paid? No? So why should we? Thank you very much. Can I? I've been itching to say that. Sorry. No, because it's true. We have to make a living. We have to make a living. This SlipStream is a new way to allow us to display our talent for what we do, to give us more opportunities for different types of content, and to allow us to simply make a living for ourselves. That's all. Right? I can go now, can I? No, sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, Henry.
But I was just getting a little bit twitchy there.
It's right. It is.
Because I see the comments.
It is absolutely the commentator. But also, let's not forget that
the camera ops.
Camera ops. We have a director. We have a runner to make sure that everything, when it breaks, we can get fixed. And we have camera ops multiple, which we will, as SlipStream expands, the membership expands, we can expand.
We can employ better people to bring better coverage
and more of them.
Yes.
And also, don't forget that the broadcast would not be there in existence. Which is, again, we understand. we don't want. If we could offer it for free, of course we would. But ultimately, you know, 1 + 1 needs to equal 2. So it has to come from somewhere. And if you don't,
I feel better now. I feel a lot better.
Pay,
I feel a lot better now.
Yeah,
Got off my chest.
Andrew, weigh in?
Just to add to that, you know, as we work on this and develop it and moving along and, you know, get things up to speed over the next couple of rounds. Also, the next set of commentators. You know, what if we got hit by a bus tomorrow or something like that? It'd be that case of like, to go straight in. I remember the first time I commentated on British Champs, you know, alongside Anthony. It is a daunting place, even if you've been doing this game for a good couple of years. A lot of eyeballs, a lot of people who are rightly so very passionate about their sport, put a lot of time and effort into it. Again, my first foray into owner karting was here. Alongside a very, very experienced commentator, and it blew my mind that first day. So yeah, giving the next people along the chance to get in the box, even just see how it all works.
And we will, because of course, as I mentioned, you guys will be into your main seasons as the season goes on, but we will continue to bring at least Wilton Mill and Trent Valley Kart Club, hopefully for the foreseeable, and then more to come. Can't say too much yet.
You want more?
Exactly.
Of course you want more.
And if you are a fledgling commentator who wants to get into it, you know, we want to hear from you. We want to give you opportunities, because it's spreading, it's growing the sport both on circuit, the broadcast, and also all of the other people. You know, camera ops. We have to have a roster of camera ops and directors and everything. And as you mentioned, we can't thrust them straight into the big time, as it were, without giving them the reps to get there. So that's part of it. I think we've done Trent Valley Kart Club now. We can move on to our location in which we are set. Henry, I passed you the teddy bear of talking.
The teddy bear of talking, like, oh dear, like I've been quiet already. Yeah, so the day started, I mean, it rained on Saturday, rained a bit more, and then it rained a bit more, and overnight, just to spice things up a little bit, it rained a bit more, which meant that when we got to the circuit Sunday morning, it stopped raining. The grass, what was left of the grass, looked like, you know, a World War I battlefield after 4 days of relentless shelling. The track was greasy, and yet we went, and 30 races, ran to timetable, maybe even a little bit earlier than timetable. Started off greasy, and this is what really surprised me. I'm going to look at the race order. So race number 1 was 62 junior road taxis.
That's a good grid.
Race 1, half of them. Race 2, the other half of them. Guess how many crashes in those 2 races on greasy conditions, the start of a club championship.
First one of the year.
First one of the year.
First broadcast one of the year.
First SlipStream of the year. You know, how many, in those 2 junior road tax races, a club meeting on a damp track we had?
I'm going to say at least 5 or 6, surely. By numbers.
11.
I think we had 1. I mean, in the first race, nearly 4 people went out, but mechanical problems, most of them. In the second race, everyone apart from 1 driver finished. It was remarkable. So no red flags. That was positive, because Wilton Mill's got a reputation, Wilton Mill Kart Club, for being occasionally quite robust, the racing.
The circuit brings karts together.
The circuit brings karts together.
Which makes great
and
racing.
Sometimes the club driver's mentality brings karts together. But we didn't see a great deal of that yesterday. Yeah, there was a couple of incidents. Of course there is. 240 drivers, 30 races, you're going to get that. Like you said, a combination... drivers moving up. There's a young lad called Hendrix Fallat, who last year raced in the British Bambino Coma class, part of the kart championship. That didn't actually make it to the end of the year. It sort of fizzled and died. But Hendrix and another driver called Parrish, there were several others who have now moved up. They all turned up with their karts liveried like retro Formula One cars. We did have an Ayrton Senna, at one point, we had a Nigel Mansell-Williams. This is in Bambino last year. That was Hendrix. We had an Ayrton Senna Lotus, an Alain Prost McLaren. Are we not allowed to say that?
Oh, I can bleep that. That's fine.
We're not allowed to figure out advertising. That's why I said we had the Ayrton Senna black and gold Lotus, the red and white McLaren, the Canon yellow and white Williams. We had a Sebastian Vettel Red Bull. We had a Lando Norris McLaren, and somebody wheeled out a 1970s Martini Brabham liveried Bambino kart. At one point, there was 8 karts. 6 of them had retro F1 liveries. So well done to the families for doing that. Hendricks moved up and was a winner in Micromax. Was it Micromax yesterday that he won? Very, very impressive indeed. Watership Restricted, Ollie West was the winner. Finley Lines just waltzed away with, with junior Rotax.
I'm going to Henry there. I think Finley Lines is due a good year. I think
He is.
I was unlucky last year. He was rapid at points.
Great in 2024. Mid with various bits of misfortune in 2025. On form in 2026.
I think the thing for Finley's and a number of drivers I think for this year, it's something I noted last week when myself and Anthony were at Valencia. Quite a few drivers who perhaps stepped up, particularly on the Miami side of things, stepped up into juniors, felt the full force of a certain R. Cranham,
Yes,
and were then racing for second place at best, and similar across, of course, in the Rotax categories with Jacob Ashcroft.
Yes.
I like the fact that there are, and I say Finn's one of several in this regard, who have gone, do you know what? Let's stay in juniors for another year. I think recently there's been this, I don't want to use the word panic, but at times this drive to they've got to get up the ladder, get them in seniors as soon as possible. And it's like, whoa, they're still young drivers. A little bit of time, a little bit of patience to develop the skills with whether it be a second year in mini or a second year in juniors, to then eventually make them a much better driver when they do get to seniors.
No, I think you're right there.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a little bit of a trend back towards the way I like it. Give these young drivers time.
Let's also, as an example, Emerson McAndrew-Uren could have moved up to big karts last year.
He could have,
didn't. An absolute. What, did he win everything he drove in? Pretty much.
Up until the grand finals.
When he was in the mix.
He was in the mix there. Just looking at a few things that you talk about senior X30. Well, yes, Nat Johnson was a winner. Mick Barrett Racing looking strong in that. You mentioned Dimi Uzanov. Dimi Uzanov doing 2 races at Wilton Mill and was a winner in Minimax. So you said about the biggest move off season. Yours was Freddie Lloyd going from premium to strawberry in Senior X30. The biggest move for me, or the most interesting move, was Dian Singh Pahal moving to Dan Holland Racing, stepping into the seat vacated by Emerson McAndrew-Uren and Dimi Uzanov. So you're going to have a great battle this year. You're going to have the might of Dan Holland Racing with the reigning British Micromax champion, Dian Singh Pahal. And then you're going to have a JPD UK, a team of 1, Dimi Uzanov. Last year, it was very similar in Micromax with Dian Singh Pahal was, for the Richardson Chassis Engineering team against the big teams. Now Pahal is with the big team, and he's got that underdog, sort of ultra-talented underdog to deal with. So situations are being reversed. That's going to be a really interesting.
The shoe is on the other foot.
The race boot is on the other foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like forward to seeing that.
Chester Forks did get the better of Alfie Davidson. Aaron Richardson stepped into the seat vacated at Fusion in Junior X30 by Mr. R. Cranham and won. That was, really interesting for Aaron. The 177s. We had a grid of 177s.
Yay!
Harrison Crook won. Now, Harrison, he spent his winter. I'm part of a website or a business that gives away that is a kart competition based business, and we offered a prize for the Dubai O-Plate for £2, flights, accommodation, full team package, entry with the Mumbai Falcons. Harrison Crook won that and got a weekend racing in the Dubai O-Plate in Senior Rotax. for £2.24.
That's a good weekend.
Flights, hotel, entry, tyres, fuel, race support, engine, the whole works. Has come away and was really impressive. He races for the TH Corsa team, so that was really good. And 11 drivers. He beat some good drivers in that race yesterday as well. So that was pleasing to see.
Yep.
More 177s, yay!
Well, do you know what? I think actually I'm well on board with that. What I want to see. Oh, we're not on the unpopular opinions yet. That's coming.
That's a popular opinion, though. A popular opinion is
okay,
more 177s.
But I want to see more, and I mean this respectfully, more adults.
Yeah.
More adults, because even the seniors, as we look at them, a lot of them are still not old enough to go out and buy sheet metal. You know, not old enough to do many things, but they can go out and race in seniors, which is great, and they are absolutely skilled enough to. But it would be great to see some established guard being challenged by a young driver. And I'm putting my money where my mouth is, because I'm doing some racing this year.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Is it too early to say? Oh, do you know what? It's the first episode. As far as I'm aware, if everything comes together, I'm going to be racing at Kart Masters this year.
Ooh.
Senior X30. You heard it here first.
In a special, we allowed to in a special Alpha Live liveried, SlipStream liveried kart. That green, the blue and yellow would look nice.
We shall see. But what I can say is, I very much hope it's going to happen. I'm going to do everything in my power to make it happen, because I want to go racing, because I haven't raced in a while. I want to showcase quite how competitive it is, and I'm going to bring all our SlipStream members along for the ride, and of course anyone who's not a SlipStream member will benet as well. So that's the plan.
Well, we know what we're doing Sunday morning for the B final in Senior X30.
So at the very least, I'm going to be doing that, and it should be good fun. At the moment I've got one of my friends has said I can have an engine. It's been sat in a shed for a while, so I don't know how good it is, but it will go.
Excellent.
I currently need cart, fuel, consumables, awning. So that's for me to sort and you to find out. I'm going to do a bit of training behind the scenes. I'm physically fit, but I'm not cart fit, because that's very much a thing. I'm hoping to do a bit of, how would I get myself kart fit again? For those who maybe have done casual karting, I want to be fit enough to go proper karting, because I was 2018 Wilson Mill Kart Club Senior X30 champion. So
2007 Landau Kart Club Senior Pro Kart champion. Was it 2005? I think it was 2005. Actually, I don't even know.
Do you know what's really funny, Henry?
That'd be a really good.
The championship's come of age.
Yeah.
The man sat behind our main camera right now, Luke Jones.
Hello, Luke.
What year were you born in, Luke?
2005.
2005.
Now, there's one video of how to watch a talented racing driver like Piers Pryor get back into kart race fitness after how many years away? 6, 7 years away?
No, last year I properly raced was 2020.
2020, after 6 years away. How about after 20 years?
Henry, we want to see you last the end of the year.
Yes, yeah.
I think I can make it through, but we'll see. Anyway, that's for another day. Any other points from Wilton Mill before we move on to our unpopular opinions?
Novices. There were some very, very, very good novices. Jacob Kent springs to mind in junior, and there was a young lad, Charlie Heffer, superb, battling in and amongst the top 10, had no right to be as far up as they did. That's good. There were some very good novices. There were also races where there weren't enough novices. But I can see why this would be an intimidating place for a novice to jump in. I've got to say
the paddock. It's when you mentioned it as a positive, and absolutely is a positive.
Absolutely.
The Wilton Mill Kart Club has 241 entries, absolutely no doubt. However, the paddock that is currently behind camera, when it's 241 entries,
it's a scary place for a newcomer to be.
Busy. If you're watching and you're club karting, yes, let's say club as in indoor karting, or you just like watching karting, you've never been to a big kart event, it is worth just turning up. And in fact, most club karting events either have free entry to spectators or a very nominal fee, 5 tenner or something like that. So
let's be fair. If you're a club, if you're a club, stop charging people to come and watch go-karting. We want this to be a spectator sport. Come on.
There's the unpopular opinions are coming, Henry.
Sorry.
They're coming. And you've got a different one. But no, you're right. But please come down, see what it's like. it can be intimidating, but also I've experienced it because when I was racing at Wilton Mill here, I raced as a privateer, and there's a lot of people that are willing to help you out. You know, I halfway through the season, the championship season, effectively ran out of money. Effectively, I had a sponsor, and they said, you know what, we can't do it anymore. It was Jade actually at the time. Basically said, you know, we'll help you out. We'll give you some equipment. We'll give you some support, and they didn't have to do that. There's a lot of people that want to see people karting. So it can be intimidating, but it's a welcoming environment. Once you get to the top and you start beating them, it can become less helpful.
Yes,
however, it's still very much a community.
Yes. And so you say about say there's that ability to rise through the ranks. Another name drop I'll just throw in there of a driver. If you want to be a novice and come and test yourself here and you know, earn your stripes. I say it's been a few years since we broadcast club rounds here. I remember when Rocco Shenton first rocked up in a Honda Cadet on novice plates, and I remember him flying through on this grid from the back to the front, you know, getting his elbows sharp.
He was busy again yesterday. Rocco was. He was busy again yesterday.
Yeah.
He's read a book which is the Macaulay Bishop Guide to How to Overtake Christmas Corner, and he has read it and learnt well from it.
Amazing.
As usual, the Birrell Rocco Shenton was there or thereabouts throughout the day yesterday. He shall not go quietly into the night.
Henry, any last Wilton Mill points before we move on to our unpopular opinion? Our much awaited unpopular opinion.
When I noticed that the curbs had been shaved a little bit on the fight, or they look a little bit
They
lower.
are, no, they have been.
They have been shaved a little bit. The Stu Stratton effect's taking full. You notice rain and incessant rain highlights a couple of things around circuits. There are a couple of drop-offs. We saw quite a few chains coming off yesterday, and it's basically because there's been so much rain and horrible stuff over the course of the winter that it's behind the curbs where there used to be a nice smooth transition to grass. That's now been watered away. There's now trenches, which did have an effect on the amount of chains we saw come off yesterday. That was the only thing I noticed that is possible. Possibly that's something that can be fixed.
Absolutely. It's difficult for the circuits because, of course, when it's so wet, it has been. If you're not in the UK, if you're in the UK, you'll know exactly. It's literally not stopped. This has basically been the first piece of sun we've seen in about 6 weeks.
4 months.
6 weeks. Good point, well made, Henry. I'm sure as things dry out, we will have less chains, but it's also something for drivers. When I was... It's a bit chilly, isn't it, with the wind? But when I was racing, I would give myself non-negotiable no's. So when I come to Wilton and it rained, I was like, right, well, don't go wide at Chapman. Is it Chapman's?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it used to be.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. What's it called now? It's Osiers?
Osiers.
Yeah. Don't go wide at Osiers, because if you go in, you don't come out. Yeah. So, and I think it's a good lesson, actually, and why winter karting is so valuable to these drivers, and why a lot of the top drivers in the British Kart Championships do go to Trent Valley, Wilton Mill, among others, for their winter training, because you have to be on your game because the margins actually are finer.
Yeah. The last thing I noticed was that it was great to see. There are drivers and parents and families that have twigged to something that if I'm not with a team, then I'm going to make my kart look very, very unique. It's going to stand out for sponsors and for commentators. So there's a driver called Will Wainwright who had a bespoke graphics kit that stood out a mile from everything else. And if you were a sponsor and you wanted to put a logo on something like that, was perfect. And you know what? The kart was spotless all day, unlike a lot of other drivers, because of course karts would go off, come back on, mud everywhere. That was so that was one thing. And the hard luck story of the day was probably Louis Weaver, who made it as far as the outside of Crook or the outside of Oblivion on before he got turned around. Well, he says he got turned around.
2 into 1 doesn't go.
Well, there was 30 going into 1, and he was at the front, and I think he just sort of maybe got clipped from behind or started spinning. The back end came out, and then the driver behind had nowhere to go. It was a tough one. He came back to 15th, though, so well done, Louis.
I think it's a good point, a very good point. Actually, something that if you're a young driver that wants to, make something of your racing. I was a young driver. I had a bright pink crash helmet. I don't know if anyone remembers. If you didn't remember,
I do.
Yeah, bright pink, and actually, it genuinely works. Like commentators talk about you because you're easy to spot.
Yep.
The directors, I remember this, my dad gave me a bright pink helmet when I was about 10, and I didn't really understand, but I was an unusual child, my dad's an unusual man, so we went with it. But honestly, the directors they often pick something visible. If they don't know what's going on, right, follow the pink helmet, for example, and it gets you a little bit. So if you can differentiate yourself or make yourself stand out in some way that isn't offensive to anyone, then please, by all means, go and do it.
There was another thing that unfortunately I noticed yesterday. I need glasses. There were several occasions yesterday where looking at a regular size screen, because, you know, I'm very, very lucky that going around the world to all these big events, they give you large screens. You come to a club meeting, you have a small screen to work from, and the old mince pies.
Could do some work.
Might have to go to Specsavers. Other opticians, hopefully, are cheaper.
Right.
And available.
The time has come. Unpopular opinions. I think I'll kick this one off.
Yes.
Because my show, for now. I'm going to start. I say unpopular again. It's an easy title, but it doesn't have to be unpopular, but an uncommon opinion that we think should be adopted, or we think would have some positives if adopted. I know you've both brought some with you.
Can I ask, why was I the only one that had to have my
Henry,
popular
I
opinion
don't need to answer that question.
vetted
I don't need to answer
beforehand?
that question.
It's like they're not quite sure that I'm going to say something a little bit off the
Moving
cuff.
on. Anyway, my unpopular opinion, and this is something that I actually have been saying for a while, and I think I should have been more public about it for longer, but I'm going to...
We support you, Piers.
This is a hill that I will die on. Everyone in karting should wear earplugs, and it should be mandatory for 16 and unders.
Ooh.
It should
Why?
be mandatory. Because,
good question.
okay, right, I'll start this. I did some indoor karting, started doing some outdoor karting. My dad said, here's some earplugs. I wore them and it was my habit. But then as I got further and further up, did more and more high-level racing, I noticed that I was the only one wearing earplugs. I'm now 28 and I've actually in the last year or so, having worn earplugs for my whole racing career, only forgetting a couple of times, started to get a bit of tinnitus. Just a little bit of when I'm in bed at night, you know, and that's with me wearing earplugs for my whole racing career. And I didn't race two-strokes for most of my career. I mostly raced four-strokes and high karts, which are much quieter.
Okay.
The karts, you don't quite realise, I have a unique, not unique, but a not common perspective on this, because I wore earplugs always. Occasionally I would forget, and I would go out on circuit, and only then do you realise quite how loud it is. You're sat with an engine on your right, an exhaust literally less than a metre from your ears. Yes, there is wind, but you've got wind noise as well. And it's especially a lot of our young drivers, and when they're under 16, that is the developmental phase of their bodies. And that's when your ears are most sensitive. And we only have 5 senses. One of them is hearing. And I want everyone, when they are in their mid to later life, to still be able to enjoy their hearing, having enjoyed motorsport. And I think it's something that should be enforced, and it's a hill I will die on, and I hope it starts getting adopted. And there's no barrier to entry. I buy regularly, because when I travel away, I sleep with earplugs in. You can buy a pack of 100 earplugs for a tenner, and it works. So I think, please weigh in.
Well, if you're Vincent van Gogh, then you get, they last twice as long.
True.
I kind of can't argue with that. It's got logic.
It does. It's all very logical.
Yeah.
And also, when you look at it, motorbike racing, I don't know much about it, but their culture is everyone wears earplugs. Karting, the culture is no one wears earplugs. I haven't seen, as far as I'm aware, anyone in the paddocks that I've raced in wear earplugs, especially the juniors. And as soon as you get to car racing, any car racing, whether it be Formula 4, whether it's Formula Fords, Clios, everyone wears earplugs. Why is karting the one place where we don't have earplugs? Because it is loud.
Yeah. My counter argument would be karting, a driver needs to have not just peripheral vision, but that peripheral hearing of where the engine just behind, not their engine, the engine of the driver that is just behind them, is that moving slightly to the inside? Can they, because, you know, that is something that that helps a drive in karting more than anything else. So that would be that. And would they have to be then scrutineered? How would you enforce it?
I would be absolutely happy for it to be, if it's
part of
mandatory. From the 16s, if they come in, it's in a bumper check, where's your earplugs? I would be happy for that.
And how long would it be before somebody brings out a set of earplugs that have got a little radio inside them so that you can the teams on the side can communicate to said drivers via earplugs?
So you're saying there's a potential slippery slope. I'll counter your first counter, Henry.
Yes.
It's also my belief that you can actually hear more and better in a kart with earplugs in, because the kart engine's so loud, your hearing is effectively saturated by the engine, your own engine. Because I think it's like 90, somewhere near 100 decibels for an X30, for example, flat out, full chat. Your hearing is saturated. If you bring, let's say your hearing can achieve this, and the volume of an X30, for example, a Rotax is here. If you bring that down by 30 decibels, which most earplugs, cheap earplugs can do, you'll bring it in within a range you can now hear more detail. And I believe that I had an advantage when I was racing because I felt I could hear more and in more detail because little sounds were easy to be picked up. So that's again, maybe up for debate. I don't know whether this will be an overnight change. If it was brought in, I would wholeheartedly support it. I get your slippery slope on.
I mean, I'm not against what you're saying.
I know, I'm all for it. It's unpopular opinions that we want us to weigh in. Well, Andrew, I think
someone at your former university needs to do that as a dissertation project and get some data. So, someone from Loughborough University, you're clever people.
Well, I came from there, so maybe not me.
Yeah. But well, there we go. But no, it's an interesting point because I can see you talk to a lot of mechanics who often race.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So I think you might have something there. But yeah, I'm an engineer. I want more data on it.
You know, I'm 45 now, and like I said, my eyesight isn't as great as it was. I am going a little bit Mutt and Jeff, possibly for spending an entire life around motorsport. So you're not wrong. I worry that that will be used. What is a good positive thing? Strange that some karting gets hold of something really useful and positive, and it becomes something a problem for the rule makers. But no, I think it's a safety aspect. You know, long health. There's a driver called Volker Wiedler. Who he tried to qualify for a few Formula 1 races. He was one of the drivers that won the Le Mans 24 Hours in the Mazda, Group C Mazda, the Rotary, which is known as the loudest, most spectacular sounding car ever. He was the driver. He went up with Johnny Herbert and somebody else in 1991, but Volker Wiedler was the driver tasked with doing the testing. He's gone deaf, and he blames that. Yeah, the 787B.
I think I'm going to end it on this, but I don't think having impaired hearing via earplugs would make you slower. Otherwise,
no, Baz Lammers.
There you go. Exactly. That was exactly my point. Andrew, unpopular opinion, please.
Mine is, well, at the moment, far less regulatory. Mine is, we talked about lids earlier on and designs, and I always like your pink lid for this very reason. Fluorescent yellow is overused in karting, and if I was in charge, I would be like, there'd be a max number of drivers on the grid who could have Dayglow yellow, because it's an absolute nightmare for commentators and for camera ops and for producers, all the like of like, follow the one with the really jazzy lid with Dayglow yellow.
Oh, that's all 30 of them.
Which one? The parallel I would put to it, back in the day, really quite a while ago now, I used to do former student. I used to do the engineering thing before I even got into karting at all. And one year at Birmingham, we ran out of time to paint the car in our usual team colours of red, white and blue. And we thought, do you know what? Let's do it in black. Jet black. Ooh, that'll look really cool. We had the chassis painted black, the bodywork painted black we had our chief sponsor was an orange logo, so that stood out nice. And then everybody else's logos were white. And we took the covers off at the launch event and like, this looks sick. This is brilliant. We then took it to competition at Silverstone with 90 other teams, however many teams it was in Formula Student 2010, and went, oh dear, everybody else has had the same thought. And I remember there was a shot. We took the car to Germany, took it to the Hockenheim Ring, one of the proudest moments I've ever had. It's like built your own race car and taken it to, the German Grand Prix host track. And they do this great thing, and a grand finals it's almost akin to the grand finals lineup shot. And everybody's cars, and I say this was probably a competition of about 80 cars, and I had to get really, really good at pointing out which one of the cars was the Birmingham one. It's like, it's the one of the 45 black liveried cars with that little orange logo on it. So that's the example I give from personal experience. It looked great on its own, but then in a mix of everybody else, you just lost it. Dayglow yellow or fluorescent yellow, whatever you want to call it. I know it's a bit of a trend at the moment with Mr. Norris. I can tolerate that. But apart from that, it's way too overused. And whilst the designs and the skills and the helmet painters, we know a good few of them, Miles Murphy, a great example, incredibly, they are pieces of art.
Yes, they are.
But when they're all doing all the jazzy flicky and all of this stuff on the side, it is a commentator's nightmare. Please, someone, like we said earlier with the kart liveries, all like the old 80s, 90s liveries.
Oh, it was your identity as
well.
It
was your identity. And it's like, I grew up on mid-90s Formula One, Damon Hill, London Rowing Club, Mika Hakkinen, Michael Schumacher, all these very distinctive helmet designs. If your helmet design can't be explained to my mum, whose birthday it was yesterday, happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday.
Hi, Mum.
And I know, yep, it's that one. I don't think it's a good design. So that's my unpopular opinion. Too much Dayglow yellow, too jazzy.
I have no rebuttal, Andrew. Please, that's
I
great.
was impressed that we managed to use the word jazzy 6 times in one segment in the year 2026. I agree completely. I'll temper that, as in I don't like drivers who have 3 different crash helmet designs every year. Here's my new design. It's your own design. It's your own identity. You've got to stick with it. That's the one thing in this world, as you get through motorsport, you'll have to wear different colour race suits, drive different colour karts, cars, what have you. Your crash helmet is sacrosanct.
The irony is, I always point to Mr. Vettel as the starter of this.
It's his fault.
But actually, by the end of his career, Sebastian Vettel probably had my favourite lid in the F1 grid, because it was the white with the flag of Germany down the middle. It's like, there you go. That's easy to point out, easy to make out at trackside. So, yeah, that's my tip to drivers. If you've got a new lid that's about to be painted, or you're thinking about, I'll run this next year with this lid and then have another one in 2027, simpler is sometimes better for your brand identity in the big field.
Agreed.
The 241 drivers at Wilton Mill Kart Club every
Look at
month.
this, we're unanimous. Who'd have thought
Who'd have thunk
It's not that unpopular opinion, though.
Right, well, we don't know in the comments. We might have some absolute hate coming your way, Andrew. And now the long-awaited Henry. I must
The
say,
one we've all been waiting for.
I have vetted Henry's unpopular opinions. I said bring 3. We're going to go with one of them. Some of them may come out in future. But for the first one...
Well, I'm actually going to...
No,
it's okay. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm going to come. No, that there was 2. I'm going to come. So my unpopular opinion is that on Saturdays and Sundays, at national level race meetings, we do away with time qualifying and morning warm up.
Okay.
National race meetings, no more time qualifyings. It's a pain in the backside, because everyone's rolling out and causing safety issues, and then there's loads of penalties. But 3-lap average, that's not pure qualifying. I prefer it, So do away with it. Go back to 3 heats.
Front, middle, back.
Front, middle, back. And also save another hour. You spent all day Friday testing. So Saturday, if Saturday's a race day, you just go straight in. No 3-minute warm-up, no 5-minute warm-up. Cycle through everything, more racing, There we go. And people say, but it's going to cause loads of crashes. That's not a rule problem. That's a you problem. That's not a rule problem. Learn to race. And the drivers should learn to race. I think that's why, it'll only make British karting even better, because we have great results. What's the one thing that British karters get themselves in trouble for?
Mishaps and
mishaps,
the others.
because they're not used to anymore. Right, I've got 7 minutes and I'm starting 26th to make moves, because we've got loads of technology. But it's going to that'll give race directors and marshals, even more problems with contact and everything else. Again, we've got technology, we've got camera systems in place. There's race directors have got a lot more assistance now, even at club level. There's a lot more assistance to deal with things. So no more qualifying. Learn to race from the back without smashing everybody off.
I'm not going to give my opinion on this yet. I'm going to sit here as devil's advocate.
Yes.
Motorsport is about pace.
Yes.
Qualifying is the only opportunity you get to show who is actually the fastest on that day.
Yes, and when time qualifying came in, I was all for it. And now it goes back to karting. Take something positive, and then it becomes a millstone. You know, you're right. You know, maybe there should be some events, one event with time qualifying, but generally, you know, it should be. We should try it for a year. Do away with time qualifying for a year, or split the formats of the round. I just want to. It's an unpopular opinion. Do away with time qualifying. Let's see what happens. It can only get better. The racing.
I like to benchmark things. In
Engineering degree.
Sorry. I quite like how, because it's been a problem anyway, particularly the rolling over, particularly in the younger categories. For those not aware, Miami Euro Series has a 4-minute TQ. Now, what I don't like is how heavily that TQ can impact a driver's weekend, particularly if it's a senior grid and you've got 6 rounds of qualifying heats. I think that's something that perhaps needs looking at. But what I quite like about it is it gets rid of the nonsense of we've got a 7-minute session and now we're all going to sit here because no, I don't want to go you first. No, you go first. No, you go first. They've timed it in such a way you can't do that because you're going to lose a lap. And it means everybody rolls straight out. I saw one of the most unbelievable qualifying performances from Aaron Garcia at Valencia, where he just went, do you know what? You're all going to sit here like lemons waiting for one another. I'm just going to go and run this solo, time trial it, get my lap in. You boys could all be messing around 10 carts back, and I'll take pole position for you. So I think it's about getting the framework of a TQ right. I think again, I'm not a particularly big fan of the 3-lap qualifying because I think that's really confusing for a casual. Yeah. I think if we're going to bring more people into karting, we've seen it with. But
that was brought in because it's not ideal. It was brought in because of the rolling out situation, and we had a situation. It doesn't matter what the officials of the meeting try to do, because. And it's the teams, the drivers, and so we were at Yas Marina last weekend, 32 drivers in seniors, a 6-minute qualifying session. The race director was very, very clear. He said, when you leave the pit lane, I will give you until corner X on your outlap to scrub your tyres in. And it was corner number 3. When you come out of corner number 3, I expect you to be on it. Full chat for the rest of the session. Senior drivers went, okay. What did they do? 4 drivers, went out, nailed it. Everyone else, they all went out together and they dawdled for the entire first lap of theirs. And the 4 drivers that actually went out came upon 3-4 wide cars. It could have been a mass situation. At the end of qualifying, the race director deducted the fastest laps from 32 out of the 36 drivers that we had. 32 penalties in one qualifying session. So it's almost like, and I saw mechanics screaming at their drivers, what the heck are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So it appears as though the whole situation of qualifying has now become more of an issue than just a 5-minute track session because, because of drivers and teams. This sport would be so great if it wasn't for the bloody people doing it.
It's competitiveness, I think, is the root of it.
No, but here's the problem.
I've sat on the fence and I've been devil's advocate. I'm actually going to weigh in with my actual opinion now on this. Henry, I think it would be a good thing for us to have at least some element of it. I think you're maybe 4 qualifying 4 if there's an 8-round championship. That would be cool. I raced at Wilton Mill here in 2017 and 2018 and it was front, middle, back, and I absolutely loved it because your racecraft was more heavily rewarded than your pace. Yes, of course, you need pace to come through the field, but that way, as a privateer like myself, I maybe didn't have quite the waft occasionally as some of the others, but I could make up for it by making 10 places on the first lap by being smart or planning my race or setting my tyre pressures differently. And I like that about racing. And I think it should be at least more of a factor than how fast can you go in one lap. I still think there is a place for qualifying, but that's where I sit. So I agree with you mostly.
Okay, I'll take.
One thing I think we can all
mostly.
agree on, in case anyone has any ideas, reverse grids get in the bin. Just before anyone suggests
Reverse
that.
grids?
Say you did reverse grids on championship or previous final result. I hate reverse grids.
Yep.
Yeah, because
they are a nightmare from a driving standards point of view.
I think there's a place for it in championships where overtaking is more difficult. There is a place for it, but in karting that is not the case. So therefore, front, middle, back, you end up with a reverse grid, but it's not based on reverse. What's the word?
Other previous heat
yeah,
results
exactly.
or anything like that.
Right, we are motoring on. I'm aware that we need to keep this at somewhat digestible length. So let's move on to the next point, which is, and I've named this the Phonebox. The Phonebox. So this is going to be try and see how it goes. So my idea with this is that we basically get someone involved who is in the karting world, and they can kind of have a little bit of a way in our opinions, and we can have a chat with them as well. And my first one is the original host of the Alpha Live broadcast, ex-Alpha Live employee, now fellow commentator to Andrew and Henry, Mr. Anthony Jordan, DJ Jordan as he is affectionately known. And I'm going to give him a ring now, and I hope that he picks up, basically. I have pre-organised this, so let's see. Right. He is aware that he doesn't know why I'm calling. Oh. Here we go. And this is where we hope he picks up.
Hello.
Mr. Jordan, how are you?
Not too bad yourself.
I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to SlipStream's first podcast called Bumpdraft. Now, we thought we'd call you because you were the original Alpha Live podcast host. We're going to go straight into this because we are, as predicted with myself, Andrew and Henry, running quite long.
Over
yes.
the length.
Basically, we've had three unpopular opinions. I'm going to give them to you all at the same time, and I want you to weigh in. So my unpopular opinion is that earplugs should be worn by everyone in karting, and it should be mandatory for everyone 16 years and under. Andrew Mathers was that fluo yellow is overused and should basically be banned, and you should have some sort of distinctive helmet or kart colour to make it easy. And Henry's was do away with all warm-ups in the morning and qualify and go back to strictly first race of the day is the front, middle, back, 3 heats and a final.
Right, okay. Well, I think earplugs for anyone from those ages, I think, yeah, there's some goods and some bad things about it, but I don't think that's an unpopular opinion at all. I think but fluoro yellow, I 100% agree with that. I want everyone It's like sponsored refreshers out there. It's impossible to identify anyone with the same color helmet. So I do agree with that one. With the warm-ups in the morning, well, I think warm-ups are quite useful in the morning. You get to learn the track conditions of the day. So I think keep the warm-ups in the morning. But yeah, definitely the fluoro yellow is my, hate that one.
What about the 3 heats and a final, bin qualifying?
The 3 heats, the final, well, I like that concept. You do your 3 heats, it's all good. Qualifying heats phase can go on for so long. So, yeah, I think, maybe I like that one, actually, yeah.
There we go, brilliant. And what's on your mind at the moment? I know you're probably all over the world. I think actually you're not currently UK in the moment, are you? You're out somewhere in the Europe.
No, so I'm in Geneva at the moment, and I fly tomorrow to Valencia. We've got the first round of the international series for the Champion to the Future Academy program, so that's going to be awesome. So I'm doing all that. So on my mind right now is going through the entry lists for that event and just prepping and getting myself primed and ready for
He's
what's
prepping,
the
he's
third
preparing.
event of the year.
Amazing. Right, anything that, Andrew, anything for DJ?
Are you still moist?
Well, at the moment, no, the sun is shining.
Okay, Henry?
No.
No, Henry's got nothing to say to you, apparently. Nothing to say. Have you got any unpopular or uncommon opinions on the tip of your tongue that you want to weigh in with? No problem if not, because you're not prepared.
Oh, no, not prepared at all. You sprung this one on me.
I have.
Popular opinions in any form of motorsport, I would say one-round world championship events, don't like them.
Do you know what? I'm absolutely on board with that. I think it should be at least 4 rounds. There you go. Henry?
I think that is a very good shout. I think that is a good shout, having a multiple round world championship and cost cap it.
Ooh, how you would do that would be difficult. But
How
I
you
agree
do it would be difficult.
But in Pie in the Sky, I agree. Andrew Mather?
No, I'm with that. I say how you do it, I'm not quite sure, but if that is quite literally the €1 million question.
And because a four-round world championship could be about €1 million.
DJ, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate it. Thanks for taking time out of your sunny day in Valencia. Maybe you'll come and join us on the podcast for a full one time.
I would love that.
Absolutely. Anthony Jordan, everyone. RGMMC, multiple person commentator of all the different things in Europe, and also around nice guy. There we go. Thank you very much.
Nice guy.
Well, yeah, Henry's not so sure. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Bye.
Cheers.
Right, there we go. It's great to have Anthony Jordan on because
I
as
think
I
he's
said,
just woken up.
yeah, I think potentially.
Actually, so that is basically 1-0.
So who won?
Andrew.
Fair enough, Andrew.
You know,
Thank you, boy.
a complete and utter,
I finally achieved something in 2026.
Right. Okay. Next up, we've got some little quick fire section before we round out. We're very much in the thick of the podcast now. We're getting towards the end, and I've got some little fun bits for you you at home to get involved with. Starting with the comments section. This is where anyone who's commented on any Alpha Live broadcast or video or YouTube short or Instagram post or anything, I sift through them as community manager here at Alpha Live, and I picked out my favourites just to share with you wonderful people at home. The first one is some Travis Peck 5201 comment on one of our videos. Can I get $100? I wanna money for go-kart.
Who was the name of that person?
It is Travis Peck 5210.
Travis Peck.
Love your enthusiasm. However, no handouts around here, unfortunately, unless Henry wants to sponsor Travis.
What a packer.
There we go. Right, that's the first one. Next up was...
oh, my.
Yeah, okay, here we go. This was a comment on the Live Miami and Honda Event 9 Wheel-to-Mill British Kart Championships. I will read it to you.
Oh.
From Christopher Wright WH8GK. It was 7 days ago at the time. And I'm going to say this in an American accent. No, I'm not.
Okay.
It's an American viewer, so thank you very much to our American viewers. Here we go.
Before you do this, can you just remind, I'm off to America in 3 days and I would quite like to be let into the country still, so please don't offend
And
them.
also your partner is American.
Yes.
So, okay, I'll not do the American accent. Well, I'm not a big fan on onboard cameras. It makes it a boring race and I'm missing lots of racing action on the track. Travis told NASCAR and Indy Racing League about it, and Formula One also, to get rid of onboard cameras and do it like you are at the racetrack watching the race in person. No more onboard cameras and stick to shooting the races like you're at the racetrack in person. Okay, please and thank you. Have a good day or night. Sincerely, Christopher Light. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Let's go, go, go kart racing. Like Darryl Waltrip always says, let's go racing, boys and girls. Boogie, boogie, boogie.
I hope that person hasn't registered to vote. That's all I'm going to say for that one.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. What he's saying is that there should just be one camera where that person's standing and you watch it as a track, which is just sort of like...
Yeah. Christopher, thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you, Christopher.
I love your enthusiasm. Your punctuation needs some work. But honestly, I don't agree. If you want that sort of broadcast, I would recommend going to the track because you'll get that exact experience. But for the time being, enjoy the live broadcast with our onboards.
I like the fact that he is so passionate about that he's actually spoken to IndyCar, NASCAR, and Formula One.
Do you know what? I've never...
Very well today.
Superb passion, even though, quite frankly, you're delusional.
Yeah, I've never met a consultant for both NASCAR, IndyCar, and Formula One. But Christopher, thank you so much for your comment. If you do want to comment, of course, it's easy to do on everything Alpha Live. So if you're funny enough or remarkable enough, or you've got an unpopular opinion of your own, please do join in. This was on the Oh No, the top four crashed in karting. This was at Trent Valley Karting last year. LOL commentator was lost for words. Henry, you were the commentator.
Yes.
It doesn't happen often.
No, the top four crashed. And but what I missed out was that I got an unbelievable Jeff in afterwards.
You did.
Yes.
Unbelievable, Jeff. That's a reference that maybe I'll put something on screen.
There's been a red card, but for who, Chris Kamara?
I don't know, Jeff, has there? I must have missed that.
There you go.
If you don't know what unbelievable Jeff is, then you quite frankly
This
need a
one
word.
I really enjoyed. So this was on one of the YouTube shorts that have gone out. It's got a lot of views. If you haven't seen any of our YouTube shorts, head over to YouTube or Instagram page. And the title of the video was Ridiculous Outside Double Overtake by Young Kart Racer. I think it was in a Mini-Max race last year, the start of last year.
Sounds like a Riley Murrow.
Yeah, potentially. Is that Fernando Alonso in circa 200 BCE? For those little cadet karters. Do you know what? I enjoyed that one. They made me chuckle when I saw that. Fernando Alonso, legend of Formula One. Is he older than you, Henry? Is he as old as you?
No, he's not as old as me. He's a year younger.
It's only a year between
I think he's a year younger than me.
And you guys look exactly the same age, which is why I guess.
Yes. It was a Riley Murrow highlight reel video. That was at PFI on the banking. You've been Murrow!
So those are my favourite comments of the last couple of weeks. Please comment. We will also be getting better at keeping a log of our live chat comments as well. So if you've got something funny in them, we'll try and keep those included as well. But the best way to do it, comment on a YouTube video, comment once the live broadcast is finished. And if it's funny or entertaining...
Am I allowed to then apologise? I didn't mean to call the guy a pecker. I was a play on his name because his name was Travis Peck. And I didn't mean to say that Chris was Delulu. He's just wrong.
There we go. Next up, we have the Caption Competition. The Caption Competition. Now, I've selected, and I will continue to select from the photos that are available from the previous weeks. This month, I have chosen one from the British Universities Karting Championship, Andrew and I's favourite. You will be able to see this photo on screen right now. I will get it up for Henry and Andrew here. So this is a very, very excited young man who is at university, the Coventry University Karting Club, the CUKS. Now, Henry's raising an eyebrow. He's, reason I chose this is because he's celebrating, it's very wet, it's a classic BUKC photo, but the thing I enjoyed about it most is he's celebrating both hands off the steering wheel, visor open, eyes closed.
Yes, in the rain, in the dark.
In the rain, in the dark. So my caption would be something like, or has anyone got a starter?
Practice for Coventry Ring Road going well.
Yep, that's a good one. And Henry?
Karting Billy forgets that when you're a cuck, you have to keep your eyes open.
Of course, cuck being the CUKC, the Coventry University Karting Club, of course.
Of course.
That is the only meaning of that word. I would go with something like a standard sunny day at the BUKC.
Look, Mum, no hands.
Look, Mum, no hands also. Please comment on this very video or go over to YouTube and comment on the YouTube video of this podcast and let us know your funniest caption or best caption for this, and we will reward you at the very least by featuring your comment on next the Bumpdraft show, and in the fullness of time, hopefully be able to give out some prizes to be confirmed.
To note as well, for the BUKC aficionados, 56, my favourite race number. This could be for 15th place, because if he's 56, that means he's not actually racing. He's definitely not racing for Coventry A. Because I used to be 56 for Birmingham C in the second division.
The BUKC, you know, I mean, you are sharing a table with...
Oh, a champion, yeah. Two champions.
Two champions.
I was champion twice champion.
I was part of the winning team, Cardiff University Motorsports. CUM, that's what our nomenclature was. In the 1999/2000 season, where we won at Northampton Indoor Karting Centre, Buckmore Park, we had an event at Rye House, Clay Pigeon, and Sheddington we finished, and here I've got a T-shirt where I won at Wilton Mill. It was a navy blue T-shirt with a red little logo on it, and we used the old track, and we won the championship at Sheddington that year, 2000.
Well, there you go. We have a BUKC Hall of Fame right here, the BUKC commentator of the last decade, two champions. So don't say that I don't get top tier guests, everyone at home. And we're going to end this with the Cooldown Lap. This is where we just go over. Of course, we've already had Trent Valley Kart Club and Wilton Mill, their first SlipStream events. This month coming up on SlipStream, first of all, the 1st of March, which is Sunday this coming week, or will have just happened if you're not a SlipStream member, but that's okay. You can watch it when it goes out to the public. That is Trent Valley Kart Club Winter Warmer. Are you on that, Andrew?
No, I'm on a boat in the Gulf of Mexico.
Could be worse. So that's going to be coming to us soon. That'll be great.
Gulf of Mexico or Gulf of Mexico? You sure you want to be let in? If he wants to be let in, you got to call it its correct name.
Out. As long as it's out from Thursday onwards, we're fine.
Sorry.
I haven't given them my social media
Anyway,
details. I don't have to.
So 1st of March, you've got SlipStream at Trent Valley Kart Club at Winter. Was it Winter Warmer? Well, that's happened. It's the ice. No, it's the Winter Warmer. We had the Icebreaker Cup, Winter Warmer, 1st of March. Then on the 22nd of March, Wilton Mill Kart Club round 1, because this weekend just gone was a
Winter Open Cup.
Winter Open Cup. We now have round 1, which is the first of the championship. SlipStream happened exactly as it has before. Plus, you can enjoy all of the SlipStream.
I will be here.
Bumpdraft podcast. Thank you very much, Henry. And then on Hour for Live, we've got a lot coming up. The season is starting proper. So we've got 28th of February. We've got Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe on Saturday. I'll be presenting that. And also, we have Club 100 Cadet North at Silverstone, the first Alpha Live broadcast at Silverstone Kart Circuit. So that's going to be interesting. Then the Sunday 1st of March, Club 100 Seniors, all lightweights at Silverstone. Then the 7th and 8th, we have Winter Series at Aragon in Spain with GTs and Formula Winter Series single-seaters. Week after, Winter Series visits Barcelona, as well as Shenington Kart Race Club. Hopefully they'll get a full day of racing there on the 15th and 16th, or the 16th only. Then the 22nd, we have TKC at Warden Law for their first event. And then the end of the month, we have the 28th and 29th is Club 100 Juniors and Seniors at Clay Pigeon. So a full month of racing. Make sure you're subscribed at the very least. That is free. Click the button, you'll get notifications and you can get notified of all the streams that are coming up. If you want to become a SlipStream member to watch live finals of those club events, then please do. You'll also get early access to this and also all the other content that will be coming. And that only leaves me to say thank you so much to you for watching the first Bumpdraft podcast or listening. And Henry Beaudette, Andrew Mather, hopefully this is the start of something that people will enjoy.
Hopefully. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.